So developing your experience, I wanted to just put a section in specifically to talk about looking for options to really develop your experience beyond normal, beyond standard. Now, examples of that are you taking ownership of a project or an initiative. There are often opportunities across the year where you can get involved in unofficial but important initiatives. So, for example, charity initiatives, Red Nose Day, Children in Need in the UK, these kind of ones. They're if you like unofficial but useful. The company will usually have a strategy saying, "Oh, we're supporting this. Can anyone volunteer?" These are opportunities for you to begin to evidence your line management capability. So you might be helping run a team that's helping make this, helping evidence your organizational capability, evidence your enthusiasm, evidence your team working skills, all of this. So look for opportunities informally to contribute. Other informal examples are beta testing something, helping arrange a special event or a test or something on a weekend day or a special day or in the evening. Anything where someone puts out a request and says, "Oh, are there any volunteers?" Whenever you see the phrase, "Are there any volunteers? Would anybody be willing?" Try and remember that Jim Carrey movie that I'd mentioned earlier, right? Which is, yes, you're forced to say yes. Of course, evaluate, but any of these kind of things can be great ways of getting involved in the community and then helping drive your experience and your exposure to different ways of working, different demands, and so on. Think about CV points, the bullet points there, right? Think about being able to evidence and discuss your activity on LinkedIn, right? Think about being able to talk about what you're doing on the company's internal social network. Think about being in the photo, being with the team that made that thing happen, right? This is really helpful. It's helpful for developing relationships and developing your reputation internally. But also look for other projects. Now, projects, I'm looking now not at informal, but formal projects. In some cases, you will be expected to participate in some formal activities. Your line manager will guide you there. Sometimes that will be programmed in as part of your degree, essentially, right, to make sure you've got experience in this. Other times it will be down to you to say yes, right? It'll be down to you to volunteer to be part of a formal project. And that's where you may be taking additional responsibility. Again, when I'm speaking to some DAs and I'm saying, "Oh, so how is it going?" and they're very depressed and negative about their experience, I'll say, "Oh, have you put your hand up? Have you, and they'll just say, "Oh, no, I don't see, I've never seen that." So you're telling me this massive bank has never had a call for volunteers for anything? Right, not happening, right? That's inaccurate. So do think about looking for those opportunities to be involved formally in a formal project, but also informally in a formal project. Now, when I say informally, what I mean is you aren't required to be involved, but you can be. You can take a role. You can say, "Yes, I'll come to that meeting." You might need to check with your line manager to make sure that you're taking additional load now because you might be required to test or do this thing or support here or whatever. But now that's formal and you've been assigned a role and you're expected to deliver. This is really good. Again, CV points. This is what we're looking for, right? Being able to evidence. Remember the skills roadmap, okay, and then your success notes, right? We want to be able to say, "Oh yes, I did this and I participated. I saw how that thing worked." It's really, really valuable. So think about developing your experience, taking ownership of a project or an initiative. Now, projects typically are funded. They are distinct things that start and end, usually. There's often a budget. Sometimes it's very formal. There's a particular way the company will run that activity. An initiative, anything else, anything that's not formal, basically. It may be a formal initiative in that the CEO or the company is making this thing or wants this thing to happen, but it's not being measured or managed in a project management way. So you'll see lots of initiatives. Now, an example initiative from me would be, we want people, this is from one of the things I've been doing recently, we want all the people in our company to be aware of AI. We want all of our people to have some awareness about fintech and financial technology. That's an initiative. And what are we doing about that? Well, we will program a series of activities that may actually be run as projects, okay, to make that thing happen. And for example, we might get a speaker in. We might ask a speaker to come and talk about this particular theme or issue on a particular day. Now, that might be an initiative as part of a thing we want to happen, but it might also require some very disciplined management and so on. Other times there may be a sustainability initiative. That might be an unofficial thing that we all agree should happen. Let's make sure we're recycling this, or less plastic bottles, or whatever, these kind of things. So there's a whole host of ways that organizations make stuff happen. Lean in and look. Look and see, where can you be involved? Don't be sensitive. Don't overcommit. It's tempting to go, yes, 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 yes. Do one thing right. Do a couple of things right. You get your feeling for what it means to be involved in these things. So don't overcommit to begin with, but I think it's very helpful. Okay, let's move on.